so much for attending this second AMA session. So we still have 1 more minute before we can officially start. I just wanted to say that thank you so much for having your time here to attend this AMA session. So of course this is very exciting because this is your time to finally talk to your mentors. A very interactive session whereby everyone can just talk, ask questions, answer. Yeah, so it's a wonderful, very, very wonderful space for us to just gather and talk around. Okay, and it's now 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. in Asia. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Let me just welcome you once again in our second AMA session. And I'm really glad to have you all here. So please feel free to explore the space that is thoughtfully designed for everybody in the space so that it will be a rendezvous for everyone during this Hedera Hello Future Origins Hackathon. So if you wanted to talk to your mentors, if you have any session with them, you can use this space. If you want to talk to your team, you can also use this space. So as you can see, there are things on the side. It's like a cafe. So once you enter one of the seats there, it will be a private session. Yeah. Okay, so to help you all get started, let's all gather here at this center. So you would notice that there were two key features that you're going to see. One is a very cute claw machine which links to the contract builder. Yeah, click that, click that. That's a contract builder URL. Next is the gaming console. Yeah, the purple one on your left. That gaming console will bring you to the Hedera playground. So these are the two important tools that will help you to start building your projects on Hedera. And once again, this central area is also where you'll hear all the mentors broadcast during this AMA when they answer the questions that we have received on the form. And if you take a look at your side, you can see on your left side of the screen, you would see a link icon there. Go ahead, please, and click that because we place a few helpful resources. First is the challenge survey. Yeah, so this one is a new initiative from Hedera. Thank you so much, Hedera, for this, because they wanted to incentivize people who attended and would be participating in this AMA. So all of you have parked all your time to attend this. Of course, you will get rewarded. So what's there? Please complete the community challenge survey. So once you click that, the challenge survey, you'll be able to go to the hedera.com community. So please help me include your Hedera mainnet account ID. Yep. So when you click that, there are some instructions there. If you still don't have your Hedera mainnet account ID, it will be a good chance for you to explore and navigate it. Yep, and what's with that? So you will receive a whitelist of Hedera's NFT. So everyone who completes the survey and actively participate in this AMA, meaning you ask questions, you just interact with your mentors or interact with anyone here, will be whitelisted within 6 hours after this session. So confirmation will be shared on Hedera Discord. So please help us follow Hedera or please be on the Hedera server. Next is meet your started developer NFT. Yep, so that one is all good. I just wanted to say that after we answer the submitted questions via the broadcast, our mentors will start moving into their private rooms. You can go to the private rooms on top. You can also go to the cafe on the side. So the cafe on the side is a very good space for you to just have a conversation, and no worries, this is very exclusive to you. So once you go there, you'll be able to see that there's a light up box inside. That means whoever is inside that box or whoever is on that table will be able to speak to their mentors exclusively, and no one will hear you. No worries, your secret are safe with us. Okay, so yeah, I think we can start with the questions that we already have received a few days back. Okay, mentors, are we ready? You can come up on the stage so we can all broadcast and answer questions. Okay,
I'm
let's
ready,
start.
Charlie. I'm ready.
All right, yeah. Jay is always ready.
I'm
Yep. The
always ready.
first the first question is, where does the most on-chain AI agents activity already happen on Hedera these days? Please name or list some prominent project names and perhaps their use case too. Anything DeFi related will be appreciated.
I can start off on this one. So what I'll say a few things. I think the first thing is that the AI agent space on Hedera is still relatively in its infancy, relative to ecosystems like Solana or Base. So that there's lots of opportunity. If you have ideas, there's lots of opportunities to really sort of get the first mover advantage and be the first person. Now, that being said, there is one organization who is by far the most active ecosystem member when it comes to AI, and that's a really amazing ecosystem member called Hashgraph Online. So Hashgraph Online, I can sort of drop there. Let me drop the link over here. Hashgraph.online.com. Hashgraph Online is a community DAO, which is led by some really important people in our community, and they do a lot of stuff with AI. They've got their own AI agent tools. They have a browser called Moonscape, which allows you to communicate with AI agents, and they've got a inter-agent communication protocol called HCS10 or Open Convey. So that they're by far the most active AI sort of entity inside of Hedera. But there's a lot which they're not doing. So, for example, they're not doing anything around trading strategies with AI. They're not doing anything around personal sort of AI wallets. So if you're here thinking, okay, maybe I could do some DeFi related use cases, then actually you could be one of the first people, and I'd strongly recommend doing that. And I think the final thing that I'll mention is to check out our Hedera Agent Kit, which is the newest addition to the suite of tools that you can build with for AI on Hedera. I'm also going to drop this in the link below. And basically the Hedera Agent Kit, for those of you who are familiar with building AI agents, then you will love the Hedera Agent Kit. It basically exposes all of the core Hedera functionality, and it creates it such that it's compatible for AI agent frameworks like LangChain and MCP. We've got MCP servers. If you use the Vercel AI SDK, maybe you're like a full stack developer, you can also use our LangChain, our framework agnostic tools, and plug it into your existing workflow. So there's some really promising use cases that can be enabled because of that.
Great. Thank you so much for the comprehensive answer, Jay. Okay, then now let's go to the second question. So this is for sustainability. For ethical supply chain use cases, how does Hedera support traceability and tamper-proof provenance tracking across stakeholders? Let me just copy this on the chat so everyone can have a look.
Right, so I'm happy to take an initial stab. So Giuseppe is our sustainability expert. He cannot be here, but he did provide a great answer to this question in written form. So Charlene, if we could copy that answer as well in the chat, that'd be great. But one of the best ways in which Hedera supports traceability and ethical supply chain use cases is through Guardian enabled applications. And the Guardian is just a set of open source standards, tools, and initiatives that use Hedera to effectively create and track, carbon emissions, carbon offsets, carbon assets. And that way you have an auditable, traceable, and reproducible record that captures the life cycle of that carbon asset or of that emission, from the minting to the use, all the way to the verification. And so if you want to learn more about what the Guardian is in the response that Charlene has copied in the chat, you're going to be able to see, what are some of the key features of that Guardian. So it's a policy workflow engine. What that means is that it allows MRV, so measurement, reporting, and verification of requirements-based tokenization, so that you can, comply with your requirements, working with these digital tokens that allow you to do all that measurement reporting and verification. Also, recently there was a partnership announced with Vera, which is the largest registry of open source methodologies, and that's all being implemented here on Hedera. So basically, the Guardian offers the biggest library of methodologies in the world, which makes it pretty easy to implement and work with those different methodologies. And there's so much more, in that response that Charlene offered, but I would say those are some of the key aspects of the Guardian. And if you're interested in ethical supply chain use cases, that relate to sustainability, then I think the Guardian is a fantastic choice to check out.
Okay. Would you want to add anything else, Ed, before I move to the next question that we have received?
Nothing else from my end.
Okay, thank you so much. Wonderful answer. Thank you. We have a question here. I'm focused on gaming and gamified solutions. Is there any integration with Unity 3D available? It's from Tech Levitate. Nice name.
I don't know off the top of my head of any immediately available integrations or um, integrations with Unity. Do any of the other mentors have more background on this space with gaming?
Um, Forgive me if I'm mistaken. I know we have a C++ SDK, and I think Unity's written in C++. I might be wrong.
It's C, yeah. So Ija, this is Unity is in C sharp.
C sharp.
There isn't a direct connection with Hedera and Unity, but I believe there are some protocols or maybe some up protocols that may enable both sides of Unity and Hedera. It's a great question, and we can dive in deeper and see if we can answer that maybe on the Discord later on. But there's definitely a possibility. I just haven't been exposed to one just yet, but we can definitely look into that for sure and find out. Great question.
Yeah, I guess just to add to that, it's a great point. I think if the person who asked that question, if you could create create sort of a ticket on the Hello Future Discord channel and tag myself, J Cool, and Ijaz, then we'll be able to get a more a more accurate answer over to you on the Discord, and then other people can see it too.
All right.
Shalin, I think you may have missed that there was a question
Yep.
near the top from AMG underscore
AMG.
K3 Hub.
Yep. Okay, I'm posting that question now. So let me read it. Hello, mentors. I'm from Nigeria working on an agro innovation project using Hedera. What are the best strategies to attract active team members in the Web3 developers? Anyone in our mentors?
I think I can take that as to say the best idea is to do hackathons like this. I mean, hopefully our Discord. On the Discord, there's a active channel where you can look for co-creators, have some validation help, and I think the channel is called Team Formation. So that's definitely a great place to start if you have an idea and you want to work on it. And Discord or X in general, as well as Reddit, is mostly where you find a lot of information and the entire crypto scene. I don't know if anyone would like to add to this.
Okay, I have added the link to our Discord so that you can form your team. So once you click that link, you will go directly to that channel on Discord. But of course, you need to be a participant first. And once again, please register for the hackathon so that you'll be eligible of any prize that you may win. Yep.
I've got another. I can add something else. So probably another. Well, obviously it depends how mature you are. So if, let's say, you're talking more strategically, you're thinking post hackathon. Uh, maybe I'm giving the obvious, but a strategic way, a good strategy to attract developers would obviously be find some to pay, and I think you'll then get that is definitely one way. But obviously, if that's not a valuable option, during the hackathon, if you maybe just sort of become active on X and make a bit of noise about your project, yeah, you'll definitely be able to gather and garner some attention. So you could do things like, I mean, you can tag me on X and I'll be able to see it. I can definitely retweet it. I'd love to help out in that regard. But if you just sort of, if you're active on X or you're active on LinkedIn and you make a few posts about it, create sort of a narrative, that will be another effective way to get people to turn their heads and give them call to actions. Let them know, by the way, I want a member on my team. I've got a really good project. We're gonna win the prize. You'll be able to, I think, drive some momentum using that approach as well.
Yeah, yeah. So please display your project on X, or yeah, feel free to contact them on Discord. And of course, if you are confident about the project, definitely there are a team that's gonna help you. All right, so let's go to the next question that we have. This is for legacy builders. Let me just paste it here. Let's go. Are there any technical themes or areas, example performance optimization, interoperability, compliance, that you'd like to see from the returning participants to explore more deeply this time around?
I'm happy to take an initial stab. I mean, even the ones you mentioned around interoperability, bridging solutions, like if you want to dive deeper into those with that legacy builders track, absolutely. Even performance optimization, which you also mentioned, whether that's for your application or maybe for one of the SDKs as a contribution, like we're more than open to explore that. That could be maybe a good fit for that developer experience track. But I do think interoperability could be a very good area. Perhaps also integrations with other tools. Um, whatever ideas you want to explore, we can always have that separate conversation on the Discord. Um, Compliance, it's an interesting one. I'm not sure how much can be done there from the technical perspective. Perhaps alignment with standards could be, a good way to align with that compliance theme that you mentioned. Other than that, I think the primary ones are captured in the tracks. Although, if you want to also expand your breadth, so for example, into IoT, there's no specific track for IoT, but if you have a solution that could fit that theme, I think that's another interesting narrative that we're seeing in the market. And if you have an opportunity to align with that and expand that theme as you grow your previous solution, I think that would be a fantastic fit as well from the technical perspective. Curious to hear if any other mentors have additional thoughts.
Anyone would like to add on?
Sorry, I was just talking on mute.
Okay.
I can add to that, but I'd also, I guess, I'd love to just. Is there any other mentors who have any thoughts on it before I say my views? We've not heard from you, Luke. Or there was a jazz thing. You were going to say something, didn't you?
The only thing I'd say was I would definitely double click on what Ed said in terms of the interoperability part. I think that's a key factor that we'd love to see more developers build on, and then potentially, I don't know if this would count with the hackathon, but I know we have some studios that we have, like Stablecoin RWA studios, which I think if people can find a way to interrupt those, find ways to work that in, I'm sure that would be valuable as well. But yes, that's all I wanted to add.
That's a really good call out, actually. The like you just mentioned, we've got a lot of ready to use studios. I mean, things like the stablecoin studio, the asset tokenization studio. These are all production grade. These are all production grade studios that let you build applications which use tokenization of real world assets and whatever. And these kits are being used literally by central banks. So that I think is a really good call out, and it does sort of two things. It one means you don't need to worry about creating smart contracts for a particular stablecoin, let's say, but also it allows you then to focus on the actual business part of what you want to be doing, which is important. It is important in these hackathons, but we're not only grading on how good of a developer you are, but also actually, is this product going to have a tangible effect on the Hedera network? Is it something that someone like the Hedera Foundation would want to give a grant to? These sorts of criteria are also involved. And understanding the existing tools that we have in the ecosystem and leveraging them is a strong sign of something which has which will be able to be used sort of on a production level. The other thing which I wanted to add, we always generally we see if you're able to bridge the Hedera native services and smart contracts using a hybrid approach, this demonstrates high high expertise when it comes to integrating with Hedera. And one of the marking criteria that we have, all of the marking criteria is public. Yes, we have things like validation. Yes, we have things like what is it going to be successful? Da, da, da. We also have marking criteria on the breadth of integration, and that basically means how well have you executed your integration on the Hedera network. A good example to demonstrate that is if you're using the smart contract service coupled with the native token service, because it's quite an advanced usage of the network. We've got thorough documentation online on this. I'm going to give a link to some tutorials that we have, but that always scores quite well in that particular category because, again, because of the sort of the usage of multiple Hedera services in a advanced way.
I
Okay.
think, Jake, just to add to that last point, it proves the advanced usage of smart contracts and Hedera services, both from the smart contracts and tokenization perspective, but also is extremely beneficial if you want to later on integrate with DeFi in the Hedera ecosystem. Because today, DeFi in the Hedera ecosystem, that's the approach that it takes, that hybrid approach that Jake was describing, where smart contracts are obviously done on the EVM, but the tokens that these smart contracts are operating on are the native Hedera tokens. And so that's a very good path if you want to think about that long term or post hackathon integration with the rest of the ecosystem.
Oh, and interestingly, the stablecoin studio, which Ijaz mentioned, uses the hybrid approach. So it uses the native token service as well as smart contracts. So if you use the stablecoin studio in your app, then you're going to be ticking a lot of boxes.
Okay, thank you so much, Jake and Ed, for that answer. I'll move forward. I love it because our chat is quite busy with a lot of questions and answers. This is such a healthy thread. Okay, we have it from Edge Flow. Are there any post hackathon funding or partnership opportunities available for projects like Edge Flow? We're building a platform on Hedera that makes it easy for small to mid-sized businesses to create on on-chain inventory records and use an AI assistant to better understand their operations. I love to explore the ways to bring this to life beyond the hackathon.
Take this. And after the hackathon, if you would like to keep working on this, I guess the primary funding source would be the HBAR Foundation. They kind of are our main organization together with PHA, the Hashgraph Association, to foster growth and development of the network. And they're usually your first stop. So you can always apply for a grant there. You can go to their website. There's going to be a form which you have to fill out and give as much detail as possible to the project. And then they should come back to you within 2 to 3 weeks and say if this was if you've been accepted or not. And with that, there would also be introduction to maybe our developer advocacy team for some advisory. So you also get technical support and mentorship. That would pretty much be what I would recommend after the hackathon if you want to go that route. But does anyone else want to add something?
Just that I'll put the link in the chat there as well.
So yeah, definitely Hedera Foundation would be the best option. But also we have another 2 hackathons as well. So we've got, this is obviously part 1 out of 3. And like we have in this hackathon, we've got a legacy track. We're going to have legacy builder tracks for hackathons 2 and hackathons 3 as well. And what that means is if you didn't qualify for a legacy track in part 1 because this is your first hackathon on Hedera, you can apply for the legacy builder track in part 2 and part 3. And so there's even more prizes up for grabs over there. So that would be the only thing that I add to what Nadine said. Just out of interest, we've been discussing with our contacts at the Hedera Foundation. And could maybe people put like some hearts or something like that if they would be interested in doing a workshop with one of the fund managers at the Hedera Foundation to sort of get their perspective on what does success look like, because obviously they're going to be judging things more on they will be looking at things from a slightly different angle to us in the hackathon, because we're going to be focusing on the technology a bit more, whereas the Hedera Foundation are more interested in does this drive usage on Hedera. But if people are interested, please just spam the heart button at the moment, and we can see if we can get something which is a bit more business focused. That would be awesome. So yeah, just drop a heart, click 3 on the keypad, and then I'll see if you've got interest, and I'll try and make it work.
Great. Okay. Thanks so much for that. Yep. So please click on the links that our mentors have provided. And yep, they are on Discord. You can definitely message them. Just join the Hedera Discord so you'll be able to communicate with our mentors. Yep. Okay, so we're down to the last 2 questions that we have on the form, and then finally you can all have your time with your mentors. Let's go. Are there examples of how stateful LLM agents can persist their memory or decision making processes using Hedera services? This is for AI and agents track.
So we've got, okay. I think there's 2 ways to answer this. The first way is assuming when you say Hedera services, you're talking about AI agents which use just general Hedera services like creating tokens, transferring tokens, interacting with smart contracts. In that aspect, you can use our Hedera agent kit. I mean, it'll be here. I can bring it back up again. You can use our Hedera agent kit and you can interact with any leading AI framework. For example, LangChain, Vercel AI, SDK, whatever, and you can use the memory and sort of APIs and services that LangChain support out of the box, or Vercel, whatever. So that would be one approach where you build AI agents which interact with Hedera, and you leverage the frameworks that we provide tools for example, LangChain, and then you plug into the wider LangChain ecosystem, which does have very extensive support for memory, for tracing, all of that sort of stuff. Now, The second point, the second way I think you could interpret that question is, can you use the Hedera services to persist the memory or decision-making processes? And that's also possible. So that would be rather than, for example, using things like LangChain to do the memory, you could maybe store the memory on the Hedera consensus service, or you could store some particular messages and decisions on the consensus service. And actually, there's something which Hashgraph Online have created, which you can sort of investigate, called HCS10. That might be suitable. That's a way for monitoring agent actions and putting it on the consensus service. But equally, it's about getting the balance right of, okay, is this something which I want to be sitting on chain? For example, an agent's memories. Do I want everything to be on chain, or maybe do I want to pick and choose certain things? But I think in both occasions, however you could understand that question, I think, yeah, you can definitely use Hedera for it.
Okay.
Yeah, what also could be very interesting to look into is the use case that we have with Equity Labs and NVIDIA, where we're basically bringing very valuable compute on chain. It's not completely exactly what you asked, but it's always a really interesting one to see what we currently have, because they're using also our HCS service to do that.
Okay, thanks so much for providing that link, Nadine. A lot of people were reacting to it. Yep. Okay, we have a question here. How can I mint NFTs on Hedera? Is there any documentation I can check out?
Absolutely. So you have also a couple of approaches um, to mint NFTs. So if you want to mint your NFT as an ERC token, that's a path that you can take. The contract builder can show you how to do that. That's one of the call to actions that you have down below or right in the middle of the set space. Now, if you want to go and explore something that is really easy to use, you don't want to worry about smart contracts or learn Solidity, you can do that with languages that you already speak or already use, like Java, JavaScript, and even Rust or Go, and many others. And so that would be with the Hedera SDKs. So there's plenty of documentation to help you select one of these paths and then start working with tokens on Hedera and start minting those NFTs. Again, if you're coming from that traditional development, software development world of Java and JavaScript, I would recommend using the SDKs because it's very easy, and something like the Hedera Playground can help you do that in a matter of seconds. And so if we go down this path of minting your NFTs with the Hedera token service, so as native entities of the network, one of the things that to keep in mind is that you can mint up to 10 NFTs in a single transaction, right? It's a single atomic transaction. You can mint 10 NFTs at a time. And it's really easy to instantiate that transaction as part of the SDK. So probably the first stop to check that out is the developer playground. And of course, we have examples on our documentation. I'll try to catch one of those examples and bring it back here to the chat. But I would love to hear more about what you're thinking, what your background is, and then maybe that way we can, try to guide you in a better direction rather than giving a generic answer. Because right now the question is a little bit general, and so I just wanted to highlight the two possibilities that you have, or the two approaches that you can take, and would love to hear more about what you're looking to build, what the long-term vision is, and where you're coming from, so that we can maybe have a more meaningful recommendation for you.
Yeah, also to follow off the back of Ed there's a website as well called mintbar.xyz, which is a really cool sort of GUI implementation of minting an NFT collection. And you can just run through and mint an NFT if there's something you were looking for as well.
Okay. Yep. I recommend Hedera Playground and Contract Builder. Yep. So you can just click on this game console and the claw machine. Yeah, this will take you to those resources, and this will help you with building in this hackathon. Okay, this is just a segue. Please don't forget. to click on the link on your left side and then click on the challenge survey. So please don't miss the chance to get your NFT whitelisted. You'll be able to receive it in the next 6 hours. Yeah, so don't forget, once again, on your left side, there's a challenge survey. Just complete it and you'll be able to be part of the list to get the whitelisted NFT. You'll get contacted, okay? Okay, let me just check the chat once again before I move on to the last question that we have received from the forum. Okay, I guess I'll just put this. We understand that we have resources, but other than that, does Hedera team provide style guides or templates for documentation and code repositories to ensure consistency across community contributions?
So I can take this one. Um, we host our guidelines on the documentation. So I'll drop the link in the chat. So here you can find like the style guide, which word usage do we accept. It includes a couple of other things. And then if you want to do specific contributions to one of our SDKs or other projects, you can actually use the contribution guidelines that are actually part of each of the repositories. So each repository, you'll find a contributing.markdown document, which explains how you can effectively contribute and what you should pay attention to. So that should be helpful.
If you also go to the Hedera devs repo, so I can drop the link in again. We have some templates too. So we've got, for example, we've got a create React app template, which comes out of the box with Wallet Connect. So you can, out of the box, have an application that connects with Hashpack, with Kabila, with MetaMask, and you can build on top of that, which is a useful resource. And then also for AI agents, we have a Next.js template, which comes with a ready-made chatbot that connects with our Hedera agent kit. And what that does is it means you can then start creating your own AI agent, your own LangChain agent, and add your own tools, do whatever you want to sort of add net new functionality. But you can do that as well. We've got those templates inside of the Hedera Dev repository organization.
Yeah, to add to those answers, if you're looking for those styles and templates to structure your contributions, then as Michiel mentioned earlier, like each repo is going to have that description. I think you can also find a link to that from our documentation. And I think Michiel did provide a contribution guide as well. That I think is the one that is found in documentation. Now, I will say, just to add a little bit of depth to that part, is if you're going to contribute to something to the repo that Jake just mentioned, the Hedera Dev organization, it's very easy and very lightweight to provide those contributions. Maybe, on the other hand, if you're providing a contribution to something like an SDK or something that lives on the Hashgraph organization, because you have a little bit more technical depth in your contribution, I would say keep in mind BCO signing and GPG signing with your keys. I think those are the two key contribution requirements that tend to catch most people by surprise. And so GPG signing and BCO, just to make sure that you are who you say you are. And then also that, I guess the other component is to make sure that you're signing for any liability issues or anything like that. So BCO and GPG is something to keep in mind when contributing in these other organizations like Hashgraph or Hyro.
Any one of our mentors would like to add to that? Okay, if not, please cut me if you want to add. But if not, Hedera has a surprise. So apart from NFT, if you participate into our challenge survey, there is a raffle. And what will you get from this raffle? You'll get the Hedera swags. I just cannot show you how it looks like now, but these are the Hedera caps and Hedera mugs. So these are really good stuff. I can see it from here. I wish I can share it with you, but please complete the survey so that you'll be able to get this. So once again, whoever participated on our survey in the challenge survey link that I mentioned a while back, you can just click your left side link icon, participate on it, and then you'll be able to be part of the raffle. Yeah, let me just check if we have other questions. If not, if not, it should be the time for us to go and talk to your mentors. So you can go to each rooms on top and go to your specific tracks. If, of course, your mentor is not available because there's someone who's talking to them, please wait for your turn, because once again, this is a private chat where you can have a one-on-one chat with your mentor. So you can also go on your right side. You can see the Good Vibes Cafe, right? Very nice. You can go there and just select a seat, and you can have a private chat with your mentor. Okay, so how are you going to chat with your mentor once you are inside? You can either chat privately, like you really literally would type your questions, or the best is you can talk to them. So please talk to them and seize this moment that you have your mentors in the same room as you. Okay, please enjoy the space, everyone. So if you're a bit shy, maybe you can participate with our challenge survey first. And once you warm up, you can go and approach one of our mentors. These are really brilliant people that you can take a piece of knowledge from. So please take this moment and get some knowledge from them. Don't be shy.